ladies and gentlemen, shit is crazy. So we're in week 2 of the actual NFL playoffs, and we're not quite sure what's happening. Hell, I was just informed 5 minutes ago that the the actual game of um, Buffalo and Cincinnati is going to take place in one of the cities, and not in the neutral site that we thought it was going to. So who knows what's going on? I certainly don't. But at the end of the day, it's just fun. So let's enjoy it. And speaking of enjoying it, I've got the Broncos, I've got the Eagles. Life is good. So let's just get into life and enjoy the process here, because we've got some things to talk about. And a couple of things to talk about are a couple of new owners and an overview of those teams so that they understand what they're taking in and they're taking on before they get too into the process. So, Bill, how's life?
Life is great. I am loving the playoffs right now. I cannot believe I actually witnessed a playoff team, professional kicker, miss 4 extra points, uh, and still have a job. but
I can't believe I saw someone give us a 27-point lead and still have a job. But here we are.
happy 2022
Fucking right.
or 2023, I guess now.
Same thing. Jesus H. Christ. All right, RJ, how's life?
I can't complain.
I
I mean,
I can't believe it. I was telling Bill earlier that I had a couple shares um of Chargers players in playoff leagues. I I have no concept and no words for what happened on Saturday night. Like I don't even know what to say.
The Chargers chargered the biggest charger of all time.
How in God's name does he keep his job? Like I honestly don't get it.
Probably because Peyton won't go coach them.
Like seriously, how much shit do you have to have on your owner to keep your job after something like that? That's incredible.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know. Like I said, shit's crazy. So, anyways, we're going to talk about a couple of things, but the most important thing we're going to talk about is we've got a couple of new owners. Welcome to the league. The first and foremost is we're going to talk about your teams, because if there's whoa shit, we lost RJ. I guess maybe we're not going to talk about the team, or he's not going to talk about the team. But the point is, if there's one thing that we're going to do, it's we're going to go through where things stand right now and what you should be thinking about as an owner. Again, I think anyone on this podcast will call themselves out for being able to say I'm not able to be fair in the way I'm looking at things, because it impacts my team. But in most regards, we're going to be able to do that, and we're going to be able to have the conversation. So we want to set up the conversation and have the conversation and get it rolling so that you guys have something to start off with. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about your teams, talk about where they stand, talk about what you should be doing with them, and last but not least, what the next step should be. So that's going to be part of the conversation today. But also, we're going to talk about what has happened and transpired from an actual NFL perspective, and try and keep ourselves in check, because, well, I'll try, but I can't promise anything because I don't know what the hell happened this last weekend. But nonetheless, we'll go anyway.
Sounds good to me.
Bill,
Yes.
you're too reserved. You're too, controlled in this situation. You need to get a little bit fired up.
I mean, we're talking about the Falcons and the Chargers, and
You just want all of these players, and I can't.
I mean,
I can't blame you, because I want them too.
how often do you get a literal contender like the Falcons orphaned? and just walk into a championship team. It's incredible. He should have had to pay for like 4 years just to take the team on.
That's a great place to start. So let's jump into that. Anyways, we'll start off with the craziness that is the Falcons now, the new Falcons taking over that team. Again, he gets to take over a pretty solid roster and continue to build from it. So we'll go through some detail on that one.
Mhm.
First and foremost, I mean, he's got some extensions he's going to have to deal with. I think that's probably an understatement. So let's go forward with that one. From a extension standpoint, how are we feeling about this?
Well, I mean, he has 5, and he still has a renegotiation. And let me see here. We got 1, 2, 3 5-year options that he has to extend using 3 of those if he wants to keep them. That obviously his choice to keep those guys is up to him, but there's 3 of the 5. And then what else is left? Like Eric Armstead, Levante David. Like he has options. Like he really does have options, but he's running out of time. Like I know that he just joined up, and it's possible that he's just taking a timeout as his Chargers just to kind of get acclimated.
Yep.
But I mean, a month goes by pretty damn fast, and things change daily here. Like you could trade Josh Jacobs today for 2 firsts, and tomorrow you could get him for 1. Like you never know. So it's just one of those things where he has so many options, and part of me would love to see him extend Darren Waller just because, just like fully end his career on a sub $1.2 million contract. So, but yeah, I mean, he's got great options. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see him do some extensions solely for the purpose of trading them away, because the team that wants them doesn't have the extension available.
Interesting. No, that's a good point. Sorry, I just had an owner message me to see if he can join. So give me a second here to get this.
Yeah, I'll fill the time. No, I mean obviously his biggest decisions are his 5-year options. Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Kyler Murray, and that's it. It looks like. Do you want to pay Kyler Murray $35 million to sit on your IR all of next season with an ACL injury? Are you going to pay Josh Jacobs to play on a different team? And what about David Montgomery? Like, how do you feel about these guys? My guess is he's going to extend Kyler and try to reduce his salary somehow. Because why wouldn't you? Quarterback is king in this league. When you have one, you need to keep one. And then Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery, they're just coin flips. I would love to be able to say that you should wait for Jacobs to land at a new team, but unfortunately, we don't have that luxury in this league. So, but no, I think he's going to extend 2 of the 3. He probably, at least if it was me, I would let David Montgomery play out his 5th-year option, because he's already been replaced basically by Herbert, and just kind of go from there. You can choose where you want.
It's a place to start from. So, Giants, we know you love to make these moves and you love to make these trades. If you were, I don't know, a new owner in a situation where you need to try and figure out the right thing to do was here, what would you be doing with the Falcons team?
Yeah, I think you have to evaluate the 5th-year option guys and figure out who you want to keep and who you're fine with keeping for a year, and then maybe tagging next year when theoretically money could open up. I don't know all of the 5th-year option guys because there's like 5 of them. But you also got to find a way to fit Kyler, and I feel like that's kind of the first domino to fall. So either you trade him or you make the moves that you can fit him, and then you kind of make the thing that makes the most sense from there.
Yeah.
The big problem with it is that if he does extend Kyler, he has $227,000 in cap. He has to find $35 million in cap space.
Yeah.
That's just a little bit.
Yeah. So he's going to have to trade away all these assets. Brett left him in a great spot, but a terrible spot at the same time. Like,
look, that is future Brett's problem.
Right.
Yes.
When he comes back in a year and takes over any other team.
We just didn't know future Brett was going to be a different owner.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Yeah,
there's some
full
fun that goes
disclosure.
with this.
Full disclosure, it's my brother who took over for the Falcons.
Wait,
yeah?
what?
Yep. So
Cool. Why don't you
I'll
tell him
have,
to get a little bit active?
Holy shit.
Tell
That
him
is,
to get some
that
gear.
is a scoop. A scoop on the podcast. I love it.
Like blood brother or brother-in-law?
my blood brother.
Okay. So the NFC is going to have some actual like fighting happening. When it comes to-
I love everything that just happened. So
Way to
what
not
we're going to do here in just a second is we're going to welcome Falcons to the league. And we're going to get into some detail here because the last thing we need is for Falcons to start slacking now. We need to make sure he's got his shit together here. So first off, welcome to the league. And hell, anybody that makes life a little bit tougher for Brandon might be my favorite new owner.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun to watch Falcons have one team he won't trade with.
Well, Falcons and I already, Brett and I already had a very hard time making a trade. So Brett and I were DMing today, and he was like, "So you're still not going to be trading with the Falcons, huh?" So it's fine. I always viewed that roster as just off limits for me, so nothing really changes on my part.
So, given the obligatory, obvious statement about how your trade offers are garbage, is that a family trait?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you for
Holy
leaning
shit.
into it instead of actually, trying to
Look,
step your way in this.
I send offers that are obviously the first rule of negotiating is you never,
You start
try
low.
and get as
Start
much
low.
as you fucking can. Yeah, it's not my fault that all of these folks are a little butthurt by the offer and don't even bother having a negotiation.
Look,
Is that a family theme? Like, do you guys both start low? Well, have you guys ever played in a league before together?
Not a keeper. We've done redraft before, but
oh, this is excellent. Oh, I'm so happy about this. There are no words.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if it's going to be a family trait. Well, I guess we'll see. I advised him to be slow on trading
Well,
until
get him active though. Like, tell him to get on the fucking Discord and pay attention to people.
he's on the Discord.
Like, say hello to people.
He did. He said hello when he got introduced.
Absolutely. He's done a great job already. Let me welcome you to the league in the right standpoint here. You may or may not have seen some of the comments made about your brother's trade offers earlier this week. If you haven't, ask anyone, and we're happy to share them with you. That being said, that's the level we're expecting in this league.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going to give each other shit, we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to make sure that it's not a smooth process in the process. Now, that said, if that's not your kind of league,
Bye.
but I don't think you would have joined this league. I don't think you would have gone down this route if it was.
Did you give
Or
him
wasn't.
like,
So
feedback on this, Brandon?
Did I give him what?
Did you give him like feedback on how this works? Like we all like hate on each
Yeah,
other?
like all Christmas, I was talking to about the league and the openings and stuff
Oh,
that
cool.
we were thinking of having. So yeah,
Cool.
I'm again super happy you're here,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make this fun.
That was the ultimate information drop of the day.
Oh, God.
We need a new episode title, I guess.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, back in the saddle again does not give us the proper credit. Like, you just full on just mic dropped the entire freaking conversation. Holy shit!
Oh man. But anyway, to focus on the
All
team.
right, let's start over again. All right, so hey, so we're talking about new owners and everything like that. So hey, hey Eagles, how are things going? You know, how you been?
Terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, I found out there's another Giants in this league now.
There's another Giants fan. While my brother and I look alike, I think we're our own people.
Okay. I'm still gonna treat it as I have a 5th division mate now.
Oh, I love this so much.
Oh man.
I didn't think it was going to be that big of news, but I'm happy that you're all happy.
No, it's really. I mean, to me, it's not really that big.
It's
of a
not news.
It's not huge news. Again, I'm overreacting for effect,
Yeah.
but
We're showmen.
this is awesome. I love it when people hear about our league and say that sounds like something I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And that sounds like what happened here. Is you talked about the craziness and the absurdity that is a lot of things that happen in our league, and he said, "I want to be a part of that. I want to experience that. Let's go." So I love that that's the reaction to things, and I love that that's where we're going with this. So
yeah,
it's a welcome to the league for sure. We're going to get into some content about your team, but that being said, it's fantastic that the approach is not let me shy away from this, but let me lean into this and enjoy this more.
I mean, your brother will quickly realize that like you were just setting him up for a trap, and now he's stuck in the same hole as you, and your whole life revolves around fantasy football.
Thanksgiving is
No, I'm sorry. Not your whole life. All your free time is involved. Is now wrapped up in checking practice squad statuses and whatnot.
The fun part of your life.
Yeah.
So Chris and Jeremy, you guys have a mandate every Thanksgiving week. Falcons versus Giants. Make it real fun for their family.
Oh,
There you go. That would be cool.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that might have been the best comment that Bill's ever made.
And I think it's the last week of our season. I think that's week 13.
I mean, dear God. Perfect.
Well, we should play each other next year because we're both 1 seeds in our divisions, right?
That is excellent.
I don't know. I don't know how it falls, like what the rotation is. But
We need a schedule czar.
We will figure that out. But first things first. Again, welcome to the league, and despite our comments, we are excited to have you here. And if there's any questions you have about kind of how the teams come together or how everything comes together, people will help. We will all help. We want active and knowledgeable owners in this league. We don't want people who don't know what's going on. So
somehow
Giants ask the question. Definitely don't ask your brother. But we'll have the conversation. We will help out however we can.
I don't know. I got a nice shiny trophy in the trophy case over here. Can the three of you say that?
I certainly can't say that, but I certainly wouldn't trust you giving me any kind of advice right now. And should I? I'm sorry. Should I trust your advice, thinking that you're going to help me instead of helping yourself?
No, absolutely not. Everybody helps themselves.
I'm just looking for the Giants.
I don't join these pods to just selfishly try and make my team better.
That's what the post pod.
That's exactly what you do. What the
post-pod
fuck
for.
are you talking about?
That's a post pod conversation.
All right. Anyways,
That being said, Miles Garrett could be had for a haul.
We're not talking about your team today. So, all right. Yeah. So Falcons.
I love this so much. This is fantastic. I love you all, but this is the kind of content that gets me fired up and gets me going. So
You need to get your brother just to randomly enter the chat now.
Need to get him
if
on
he
the
shows
pod.
up to the pod, I mean, I literally gonna drop the mic. But anyways, let's talk about each of the teams that we're starting off with here.
Sure.
So let's start with the Falcons. As mentioned, definitely some conversation and some checking that needs to be done in terms of how the team's coming together and what it looks like from an overall skills perspective, but definitely not an easy team to rebuild without a little bit of thought process and a little bit of rebuilding in the conversation.
I mean, I don't know if rebuilding is the right term. Like, you have to do some gymnastics to make the cap work, but like the team is super strong.
Yeah.
I mean, like a new owner. I mean, like him coming, like my brother coming into a winner like the Falcons roster, I think is way easier of an ask than trying to take over and build up some crap team.
That's fair.
Yeah, but he's still going to have work to do. Like he basically,
of course,
he basically has to cut Kyler Murray, or basically his only option is to gut his entire roster to make Kyler Murray fit.
I mean, he could trade him.
No, he could trade him. He could trade. I mean, he's got some expensive pieces that he could trade. Deontay Johnson could be renegotiated.
I apologize. When I said cut, I meant trade him, get him off his roster.
Yeah.
But that's going to be interesting to find someone willing to take him on, knowing he'll miss all of next season.
I mean, in theory, you could just cut the majority of his 1 year guys that he's not getting comps for, and just keep it as is for the time being, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or does that 5th year option kick in for Kyler Murray next year?
The 5th year option.
It kicks in next year. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to,
but there's pieces that like people want that are not
absolutely
astronomical, right? I mean, Kamara, Diggs, like any of the wide receivers, like any of the running backs, like there's pieces that could move, and it's just a matter of finding the right value. 100%. So we'll see. I don't know exactly what he's going to end up doing, but there's a lot of options. It's ultimately it's going to come down to like what the league interest is in some of these other players and how that will play out.
Well, the league has been trying to get players off the Falcons roster for years, so I assume that that's still going to be the same level of interest.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a strong team, and like again, no one's on like a horrendous contract, so it's just a matter of matching that value with the desire. It's just a little tight right now because of all the dead cap.
The problem when you look at it is, and like it'll definitely improve. Situations will change over the off season, but as of right now, a lot of these players are like ideal players to move in season because they're like older vets, like a Shaq Thompson who's 28. It's a matter of getting to that like week 1 with all of them on your roster, and then being able to sell them off for a premium.
Yeah,
because I don't know how many people are like running to go get a TJ Edwards right now.
I don't know. I'll take on $17 million to take on a 30-year-old Diggs.
Sure, that's one of the few like older, like I guess you could say like older vets on his team that like somebody like would go out and buy in the off season. The rest of them, in my opinion, look like a lot of things that you would want to move in season.
Yeah, the thing that Brett did very well was build depth for valuable players when they're valuable.
Yeah, he could have cycled it a little bit more and got younger, but he didn't. And I think that's one of the things that kind of caught up with him.
Well,
was about to catch up.
He didn't want to threaten his championship window.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not saying he was like, ignoring this and like he was aware of it, but like you weren't going to trade a 30-year-old linebacker for a 24-year-old linebacker that's putting up the same production. And like in his situation, you don't want to gamble on like an unproven commodity like that.
So I know that it's almost impossible to get 12 first-round picks in any 12-team league, but like look at this roster. This roster is full of, I could flip anybody for at least one first-round pick. He could literally tear this down and have an entire first-round draft class next year.
Hold on.
I don't know about that.
RJ, I need you to give me all my picks back.
But my point is, he could literally tear it down, hold on, find his first, go for the 101 next year, and just rebuild with a whole.
No, he's not. No. I don't think my brother would be interested.
I didn't say he would. I just said he could. I'm giving him ideas. The entire point of this podcast is to give ideas.
I mean, I kind of disagree with that. Outside of the running backs, and Stephon Diggs and like Godwin, I don't see people giving up first-round picks for Curtis Samuel, Devontae Parker, Deontay Johnson, Paris Campbell. Like,
I think DJ could get it first.
Deontay Johnson, you could get it first. Yeah, he could be renegotiated half his salary.
Like, where's he playing next year?
No,
DJ's playing in Pittsburgh.
Full stop. I'm sorry, guys. We need to take a step back here. This team, we were no shit concerned this team was going to three-peat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What the hell are we talking about? That this team should start blowing it up and start trying to build.
He doesn't have cap space.
I don't think they should.
They absolutely can. I mean, they can make it work from a cap space
one trade. Yeah, he could do one trade and run this back next year.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of figuring out quarterback.
Yeah,
let's stop the conversation at the we need to rebuild here. Like, no, this team, one trade.
Here's what you do. You take Kyler Murray and you go get Brock Purdy from the Texans.
Oh shit! Go to the.
I'd actually go to Texans and try to get Deshaun.
Well, they're the same. They're the same cap hit.
Okay.
Go to God, who am I thinking of?
Patriots.
Go to New Orleans.
Okay.
Yep. There's options.
Yeah, go get yourself some Kenny Pickett. Give him. There's not a dynasty owner in the world that would turn down, would turn down Kyler for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you don't like Kyler Murray that much.
But that's also that's like the desperation move, right? Where you like, if you're all your other options are out, you're like, this is the only way I keep a quarterback and this roster intact. Like that's the type of move you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
You do that, you save yourself $30 million in our league. Like that's not a terrible thing.
Yeah, for sure. He's got a lot of flexibility, and he could go either way. And it's a fun situation for him to have. Part of me wishes that Brett had stayed through the year to see what he did with it, because he had a plan, obviously, for this process.
You would think.
Yeah, I would think. But
he left. My understanding is, like Jeremy said last week, like he left him some notes.
Yeah, he wanted. Jeremy said he wanted to like go through the offseason just to get the team in shape.
Yeah. So
that's good on him. So he obviously had an idea, but it's gonna be fun to see somebody take Brett's baby and remodel it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know what my brother's gonna end up doing, but like, it could be like a very similar team, but like the quarterback is different, right? Like that might be the difference for the Falcons next year.
For sure.
I don't know, but
yeah, but you won't trade a quarterback, and he might. Who knows?
Why don't you guys just trade quarterbacks with each other?
I'm good, actually. I don't know if you heard about. I'm pretty high on Josh Allen.
Just a little bit.
It's okay. I'll take the best fantasy quarterback in the league, no problem.
When did you get Lamar?
When I drafted him.
God.
Yeah, or when did you get Mahomes even? Yeah. Because he doesn't get Lamar does.
He scored 41 points more than Josh Allen.
Anyways, shit's crazy. We just have to figure this shit out. But nonetheless, we're excited to have him here. Now, we talked about him.
Josh Allen didn't play a game. Keep that in mind.
Can we talk about the new owners of the the Falcons team.
I thought we just
Did,
did.
did we just do
Oh,
that?
we just did? Okay. Sorry. My brain is somewhat
You
sideways
mean
here.
Chargers?
The new Chargers, yes.
I want
we-
the first note to be that his name is Chad Johnson.
Do we officially have a new Chargers owner? I haven't seen any.
He got introduced.
so.
But he
Yeah,
but he hasn't been active, I don't think, very much.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just going to call him Ocho Cinco from now on.
Oh yeah.
Chad
that's fine.
Johnson, Ocho Cinco.
So welcome.
So what does this team do?
whose brother are you?
Well, they live off of Geno Smith getting his 2-year extension with Seattle.
I'll tell you what, I am interested in Geno Smith. I am a
Yeah.
49ers fan, and I'm interested in what Geno Smith does.
He's
I am the same 49ers fan that talked a ton of shit about what's happening this year and how you can't really count on any of these players. But that said, I am all in on the conversation of what Geno Smith could potentially do.
Well, you heard it here first. Mike's 3 quarterbacks are going to be Geno Smith, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy.
I
Going to spend
I,
a whopping like $5 million on all of them.
I'd be okay with that, but at the same time, I have not made that work. So I've tried to get myself a Brock Purdy, but I have not sent a agreeable enough or acceptable enough offer to said owner.
All
So
right.
here-
I guess I'll have to be the middleman and start
So
buying
this is
with
kind of
picks.
the fun, kind of a fun transition off of Brock Purdy. Chargers has Trey Lance.
Yeah.
What happens when San Francisco, whenever they win the Super Bowl with a 7th round pick?
Hell, I don't know.
Trey Lance wasn't a 7th round pick.
Brock Purdy was,
Yeah.
and when they win the Super Bowl, and
Oh, you're talking about the Super Bowl that they won this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. They just he's going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback that's a backup.
I mean, we watched the Eagles do
Foles.
this, right? They had Nick Foles, and they still re-signed Carson and tried
Well,
that.
did they re-sign Carson, or did they just go on to Hurts?
No, they were what? What? They
Whenever
re-signed
he-
Carson.
Okay, I timelines are messed up. That was so long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is only
I'm
Hurts
just
like
working
second
on this
year.
whole thing.
But yeah, but I mean, Purdy. If Purdy gets the job, Lance is incredibly expendable. And I personally, I would kind of look into moving Lance regardless.
Interesting.
I know Purdy's been good, but like they paid 3 first-round picks for Lance because he has an element to his game that just
That Purdy does.
supersedes,
Yeah.
what
Because
anything
he's
Brock
run
Purdy can
really
do.
fast.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
throw a fucking rock.
Yeah, he's Kaepernick.
Oh Jesus!
Who's
I mean,
Kaepernick?
Bill,
he's
Bill.
Kaepernick.
You just hurt my heart, but you're 100% right on the conversation. So,
Who's Kaepernick?
Lance.
Oh, ow.
I'm gonna need to drink everything. I appreciate everyone being here while I do so, but excuse me while I drink everything in arm's length of myself.
But no, I mean, looking at his quarterbacks, he has Geno and he has Trey Lance. Wouldn't you rather just hold on to Geno once he gets his extension, just move on from Lance and reacquire some high end firsts?
Did he
Geno
get an
is
extension?
32.
So
Geno
what?
is 32. The Seattle, they've said like, yeah, we'd be interested in keeping him around because like, yeah, we need a quarterback that can get us into the playoffs. But
Yep.
like, they haven't committed to like we're all in on Geno.
No, of course not.
32,
But-
32 means nothing. That means he
Yeah.
only has, what,
Brady was
13 more
45.
seasons to play?
Yeah, Brady's 45, and
No, don't let Brady.
okay,
Don't
how
let
many
Brady change.
quarterbacks
your
are-
No, I
landscape.
won't. I'll
I
let,
mean,
I'll let,
yeah,
I'll
Brady.
let somebody like Josh Johnson be the example who's 38 years old and still getting jobs in the NFL.
As a starter?
No, but
Uh,
that's not
Every 3
Hopefully
years he
not.
starts a game.
Okay,
So-
that's
so this-
sure.
this
Yeah, if that's
this is my expectation for
if
Seattle.
that's your
We're
offer
gonna-
for Geno Smith, he's just going to be a one-a game every couple seasons starter.
No,
Yeah,
no.
sure.
I don't know. I can't tell what the future is going to be with these players,
Right.
but I know like at least longevity says that like you're not going to like he's not just like it's bad to look at him like he's just on the tail end of his career. If you want to look at him as like his like on the tail end of his productive, like
there's no way he can be on the tail end. He barely played for 8 years, so like he's healthy.
That's not why people retire as they get older.
I
They have too many miles on their arm.
I know, but my point is that he's going to get a contract offer with Seattle. Seattle said they want him back. He wants to be back with Seattle. He will be a bridge quarterback, even regardless if they take a quarterback at 5 or wherever. He's going to be the stopgap option.
Yeah.
Is
so
he?
You'd want to move off of Trey Lance just to have a stopgap option from a 32-year-old from a team that's kind of iffy on him?
I would rather have.
No, here's the question. And I'm sorry, let me just put this very simply. I'm way out over my skis on this one. If somehow the 49ers win the Super Bowl this year with Brock Purdy, that changes the math every way from Sunday.
Yeah.
Again, it's not because Brock Purdy is a better quarterback prospect than Trey Lance. It's not because of anything. It's because, frankly, it completely changes the conversation. So,
but it didn't for the Eagles. The example that we have that this literally happened.
Right. We have an example, but it doesn't mean it's going to be the entire.
What was the example?
The Eagles with Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl.
They moved on to him. It doesn't matter. If you just won the Super Bowl because of a quarterback and you turn it over to a different quarterback,
it's hard to do.
The Eagles did it. They did it a couple of years ago.
But here's the actual.
And how did it turn out for those Eagles?
Hang on. So the actual difference here is Carson Wentz played 14 games that season. Trey Lance played part of the preseason.
So again, it's frankly, I can't think of how this turns out. But point is,
if you get a title, you don't care.
if you win a title with Brock Purdy, I don't understand how you could potentially step away from that and say, "Cool, that was a lot of fun. Let's give it to a new quarterback."
Yeah.
But it's not a new quarterback. It's the one that won the job.
That's never played a down of significance.
That's not true.
No, if he wins the fucking Super Bowl, then he's played plenty of downs of significance.
No, I'm talking about Lance.
You're talking about Lance. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle doesn't.
They also just traded 3 first-round picks.
They can just run it back with both of them still on the roster and be like, hey, "Let's keep going."
But they're going to get much more return out of sending Trey Lance to a team like Indianapolis.
This is a team that kept 3 quarterbacks on the roster this season. You don't think they're going to just keep their 2 guys and be like,
"You have to get a return on that trade"?
We're just spitballing. We don't know. For all we know, they get knocked out this week by Dallas.
Oh, God, you take that. I'm going to kick you in the balls.
I don't think they will.
I'm going to kick you too.
For all we know.
That's so rude.
So somebody kick him in the balls right now. I don't care who's near him. Somebody kick him in the balls.
Where's your partner?
I need his balls to be kicked immediately.
I'm not saying that happens. I'm just saying we don't know.
No, that's great. So, somebody kick him in the balls.
I mean, I just see the Brock Purdy situation. Like, if they do win the Super Bowl, it's a Mark Rippon situation. So do they let him play a couple more years and then find out that it was all just a hot streak, or do they profit off of him and move him somewhere else?
I mean, if he wins the Super Bowl, they could profit off of either guy.
Yep. No, you can't profit off of one.
They need to. I think they just keep them both. They run it back. They figure it out.
Is somebody in the process of kicking him in the balls? Because this is really important to me right now.
Wow.
This is the content we needed.
I need him kicked in or around his balls.
So let's focus on the Chargers instead of my
No, we're going to focus on you getting kicked in the balls.
So Chargers has no picks for the next 2 years and has minimal weaponry.
What?
Minimal, not nothing. Minimal.
Minimal?
Yeah. He has Courtland Sutton, Mark Andrews, and Nick Chubb.
Oh, yeah, that's a weak
Well,
sauce
that's not
lineup.
great.
I didn't say it was weakness. I said it's minimal.
I mean, I can always give him back his first if you want to.
Right. So what I'm saying is, wouldn't you rather move off of Lance or even Gino, and like once that's all figured out in the offseason, move off one and acquire the picks to build the team out instead of holding on to two quarterbacks that you could move off of one. Like we talk about that all the time. Why hold on to 2 or 3 starters when you could profit off of one of them and build your team out?
The uncertainty around both of those quarterbacks right now means neither of them is going to move for their max value.
Well,
I think you have to wait it out. You have to
I
see
don't
how.
know. Gino's
wait.
probably got some sweet value right now.
Yeah, 500.
Well, I think if Seattle
I'd
hands
love to
him
Gino.
a 3-year, like mostly guaranteed contract, that's peak Gino value.
Yeah,
Right now, it's they might give him a contract, but they're probably going to draft a guy since they have 2 picks in the top, or at least one in the top 15 and one in the 20s.
they have 5 and 24 or something like that.
They hit 5 from the.
I mean, he'll be
Broncos.
Geno Smith will be a
Mendoza.
solid backup to Anthony Richardson.
For fuck's sake. I mean, come on.
I mean, like at the end of the day, though, like build the team out. Like Chargers moved off of Devontae Adams, in whatever that deal was. But
Yeah.
I would if I'm the new
Yeah,
owner,
he got younger.
yeah. But if I'm the new owner, I'm gonna want picks. Like I'm gonna want to pick my guys. Like
Well, everybody wants picks. I mean, that's the other part of
That's
this.
what,
is
yeah, that's what all of
everybody
us are
wants
asking
picks
for.
things, and
But Chargers didn't give a shit about picks. Matt never cared about them. There's a lot of teams that don't care about them. Maybe this new guy doesn't care about picks and he's cool with what he has. But I'm just saying, like, if it was me, I'd want to get a pick back. Maybe I would move Brandon Ayuk.
Phil, I feel like you have tank brain.
No,
Every single
hold on.
roster you have, you just
Brandon,
start selling away.
does your brother care about picks?
I honestly don't know.
You
Maybe.
honestly don't know if he cares about picks? Then shit, this is irresponsible to have him as an owner in this league.
I mean, I don't know if he's gonna like care about having picks over like established players and trying to do a run next year. Like that's a decision
Do
he
you
has
care
to
about
make.
picks or do you care about established players?
We all care about both.
Right.
He
Okay.
wants both. He wants younger players and picks. And damn it, if you don't give them both to him, then he's telling you you're a terrible fucking owner.
I
That's right.
want to get younger,
Right.
cheaper, and get more value out of a player.
Absolutely right.
But you-
Amen, brother.
Take what you can, give nothing back. All right,
I mean,
that's been my
how it
mantra for
goes.
years.
Isn't that what everybody wants? Build out the roster of the best 24-year-olds possible
Take
and
what you
still have a
can,
bunch of
give
first
nothing
round
back.
picks.
That's how it goes.
Amazingly, that's kind of what Falcons did.
Except they're all
Yeah.
28.
Right. Fair enough.
Maybe 4 years ago when he built the team.
So I guess like what would you do with Chargers? Like he's got $2 million. He's got 2 quarterbacks of value. He has the number 1 tight end in fantasy.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, Mark Andrews is going to be pretty tied to Lamar, I think.
So the roster is good enough to where it's one of those that if he goes into next season, it's probably good enough to where he falls into that category of he'll make the playoffs and he might be one of the dangerous teams in the playoffs. But he's probably not.
He challenge Chiefs.
Yeah, he's not the top tier that he was 2 years ago, or the team isn't.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, he's got a tough division.
That's fair.
It's
So-
far easier to compete with this roster than try to tear it down at this point. But like every season you progress forward with this roster, it's going to get less and less valuable. So like it's a really hard decision with this kind. Like
I mean, that's every roster.
sure,
Well, he's also got 4 extensions and a renegotiation to use.
Yeah, I think if he wants to sell, he's better off waiting till after rollover when more money is open,
For sure.
so that he can
Well,
sell
yeah.
some of these higher price guys.
Nobody has cap space right now, really.
yeah.
So I think he just needs to be as efficient as he can with his tags, with his renegotiation, getting this roster to roll over, and then he can sell some of the pieces that are a little bit older or a little bit too expensive for his liking. But he's got a cheap quarterback locked in right now, or 2 of them for the next 3 seasons.
I would actually say sell some of the like redundancy, potentially even some of the youth, and try to get like picks back. So like you have a decent amount of wide receivers, so like it wouldn't be unreasonable to go like, can I get can I get rid of Brandon Ayuk for an established vet and a first round pick or a second round pick? Can I flip Cordero Patterson into like a tier below and a third round pick? Can I turn Mark Andrews into one of the other first round value tight ends, but also get like a first or a first and a second back along with that? Like I think that's kind of the avenue you have to go. Don't get me wrong, there's not going to be trade partners for all these moves. But they're definitely ones that you probably want to seek out before you just throw your hands up and either start like buying vets or selling off your good players.
Do you hold or sell Chubb?
I think you just hold him at this point.
Yeah.
Because like anybody that's going to buy him is going to want to buy him at a diminished value because of his age, and like I think you just
go ahead.
You ride out the last 2 to 3 years of productiveness, and you kind of use that window as your like this is the time that I want to hunt for another championship.
Yeah. All right, I gotta step away for a second. You guys keep talking.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Part of me thinks that Chubb might be like you hold him for right now, and then he's like the prime like sell off to a contender in the season.
Yeah, the problem is he's so expensive. That's like it's gonna be like the perfect storm of like they lost an expensive player and need another push. But yeah, I agree. That's the exact kind of piece that you can flip in season next year.
Yeah. Literally every past owner of Ezekiel Elliott is going, yeah, sure, that's fine, but you're not gonna get what you want out of it.
Nope.
And that's kind of like where he is like 2 years ago, Ezekiel Elliott. Like if you remember how he was regarded in our league, that's kind of what Chubb is now. Like I'm sure somebody will come and buy him for like a late first round pick, like in week 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
But like you're still just going to be disappointed with that. So you might be better off breaking him down into like a running back that you feel is eventually going to be a starter and some second round picks or something of that nature.
Well, the weird thing with him is going to be how do people feel about him with Watson there? Because like when Deshaun came back, he didn't get more than 13 points. Like generally in a PPR league, he was basically useless.
But is that really that important? Because they were kind of out of the playoff race for the majority of that time, and like
but I mean, like 7 games is 7 games though, Like how does
seven games with no importance makes a lot of financial decisions for a running back. Like I'm not gonna fight for those extra 3 yards and potentially get hit in the head. I'm just gonna go down like a sack of potatoes every single
I think
time.
Hunt is also unlikely to be there next year. So like
Hunt's gone.
They were fine splitting carries between the two of them because Hunt was still really capable, especially in passing situations. But unless they draft someone of consequence, which I can't imagine they're going to do because they have 3 less first-round picks than they had going into the offseason last year, I imagine they're not going to be using high-value picks on a running back and just kind of fill in with fillers like they have behind Chubb. So he could get more touches, I think, in the future.
Yeah, I think they're going to roll with Chubb and Dearness Johnson next year.
Yeah. I think
to Felton.
Yeah.
And Felton. Yeah.
It's gonna be Chubb's gonna be like the bell cow as far as like rushing, and then like I think that Ernest is gonna take over the like third down and like some of the like relief role, and then Felton's gonna be that kind of playmaker, like your X wide receiver, your like move him around the field type of thing, while still being sometimes lining up in the backfield, but probably taking like 3 carries throughout the whole year.
Yeah. So I mean, who would we like renegotiate off of this? Like the one that sticks out to me is Perriman, but did he play enough games this season? Yeah,
Denzel Perriman. I don't know.
He played a lot. I mean, I guess you want to renegotiate a 30-year-old linebacker.
My only thing is it's not really like the player; it's the position. I don't think the Raiders even really wanted him.
Yeah.
Like that's I would try to like. I don't think Hicks or Kersey like go down in price if you renegotiate them. But like if they're if you had to pick a linebacker, like I'm looking at those two and getting less of a discount. But I still don't like that.
I wonder. Let me check something here. I wonder where Sutton falls.
I would probably
Sutton is 45. Oh.
What would Chubb be if he was renegotiated?
Sutton would drop to $5.7 million, and
Oh,
Chubb.
yeah.
No, it would have to be half.
Okay, so he'd be halved.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Chubb. Let's see where he fell. He's Pro Bowl, so he was number 9 overall. So he'd go from 19 to 13, but he also has, he'd go from 19 to 13.
I mean, either of those is like pretty easy. I'd probably do the receiver.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, those are two great options for your renegotiation on key pieces to get them. I mean, Sutton would be great. What is he at 14 right now? He go down to 7?
He'd be at 7.2.
Yeah, that's
me
awesome.
all of that.
I would do that in a heartbeat, and he becomes instantly more valuable.
Yeah, because Sutton's one of those wide receivers that's going to have longevity in this league, regardless of like
Even
what happens with him.
Wide open.
It's just it's a matter of like the style that he plays. Like, it doesn't matter what his career trajectory is. Like, worst case scenario, he's the third guy on a roster, still getting like 400 to 600 yards a season.
He's a move the chains possession receiver. He's been excellent, and he can be excellent again.
And he's got great size, so he could be a red zone threat.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, it was just his worst year. Like,
he's a wide receiver from a bygone era.
Yeah,
ones that were actually tall and big bodied.
Yeah.
Now there's like one per draft, and they're usually terrible.
Are you saying something about Johnston this year?
Yeah, I was about to say Quentin Johnston's like, hey.
I mean, it was more about like that big, muscular, sure-handed Treylon Burks that can't hold on to anything,
or Drake London,
right? And I actually
I know. I think he's gonna be okay.
I like shit on him.
You just didn't like that he was high.
Yeah, I didn't like, but he certainly has flashed. Maybe not as everybody on the hype train would have expected, but certainly a lot more than somebody that was shitting on him would have expected.
Yeah, Ritter's going to spend the offseason working with London and Pitts, and they're going to be fine next year.
Yep. While we're talking about young wide receivers, also Jameson Williams is just going to continue to hold that 41-yard average.
Right.
He's just whether it be never playing another down in the NFL or just being a freak that only like catches long balls, like that's what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of like a taller Djax. He's just gonna he's gonna have games where he has like 8 catches for 200 yards or like 3 catches, but like still for like 80 to 100 yards.
Yep.
Good for best ball.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh,
definitely good for best ball on a roster that's already filled out. But I view him as like one of those boom bust linebackers. Like he's going to get you 0 or he's going to get you 35.
Yeah, that's fair. So I mean, they both have a lot of work to do, like with their extensions, and the fun for them is going to be having them. And the problem for them is going to be having them.
So does Chargers have regular extensions?
Yeah, Chargers has 5.
So, oh wow.
No, sorry, Chargers has 4.
Okay. So, am I wrong to say like you obviously do Brandon Powell?
Yeah. I was just looking at that
because that's just kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think you renegotiate Sutton. That seems like also a no-brainer.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Does Jonathan Abram get extended? No, he's a first-round pick. You just let him go his way after next year.
I would think that you would extend your D tackles in Hargrave and Joseph Day.
I like this Joseph Day. The Hargrave one,
a little high.
Well, just my concern is like I don't know his contract, so like I'm kind of
he's done. He's leaving Philly.
Oh, okay.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they literally drafted his replacement.
Well, that would be.
I don't think Jordan Davis is a Hargrave replacement. They're two different types of players.
Who knows? I mean, Philly's going to figure it out regardless. But my understanding is Philly is not going to be able to afford him because they have to pay Hurts like this year.
Maybe.
But I mean, the cap is fake, right?
Yeah.
Hurts
But they
strikes
also
me
have
as somebody
Brandon
that
Graham
would.
and Fletcher Cox. I feel like either of those they could let go before they let go of Hargraves, just based off of age.
Well, I mean, right now he's a UFA. They could tag him, they could sign him. We don't know, but
Yeah.
everybody's talking about where he goes because him and Payne are like the two D tackle UFAs that are out there.
Yeah, I just see him as like they have 3 legit defensive tackles, so I see Hargrave as kind of the odd man out there.
Yeah.
Because he's not the entrenched veteran that like who's gonna have his name retired or his number retired, and
Yeah.
he's not the young superstar. He's stuck in the middle.
He's a
Okay.
defensive tackle that had like 11 sacks this year. I feel like they're going to try and keep him.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking ill of what he does on the field. He's a stud.
Do you extend Kirksey?
No.
I mean, he's just run out of options, right? Like
I mean, you don't have to use your extensions. Like if it doesn't make sense to slap a 20% fine on someone.
So Ocho, whenever you do listen to this, just make sure, like, remember, you can still trade, and as long as they have 2 or more years, you can still extend. So that might be a path that he has to go to actually use all of these.
What about Roy Robertson Harris?
He could be an interesting, like, low cost depth piece if you have the spare extensions. Yeah.
Right. Like just if you don't want to lose the extensions, it's not unreasonable.
Man, whoever he got him from, I think it was the Jets, like he offered him to me and I was like, I just don't have the contracts to take him on at the time. And I'm like, that was a really bad move.
Yeah. It's I will say this. The one thing that I've noticed is that I wish that there was Go ahead.
Jalen Ramsey. Oh no, he's a Pro Bowler. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, just because he's a pro, that's fine. Like the quarterback, that's not a very expensive position.
You say that until you look at like the top 5 salaries, and they're all
he's already $2.5 million.
Right, and how much is the top salary? Like $4 million.
7.
Who is paying $7 million for a corner?
Mike Hilton, the Rams. Rams have Mike Hilton and Taron Johnson. That's 7.3 and 6.87 respectively.
Yeah. So Robertson Harris goes down on either extension. 2.3 on a 1-2, and then 2.2 on a 3+.
Yeah. Jalen goes up to 5.8 on it. Yeah. So you definitely don't want to do that.
No. Yeah, I mean, he's got options, but I mean, he's going to have fun whenever he decides to like check in and really get going with everything. He's going to have a lot of activity come his way. I can easily see somebody wanting Ramsey. I can easily see somebody wanting Jordan Hicks. Devin Lloyd is going to like be his ultimate king piece.
I mean, I'm going to try to offer him his first round pick back for IU. So
right.
There's definitely things that can happen.
Oh, for sure. Like, I wonder what IU could actually go for. Like, if it was Matt, he would hold him for like a top 10 pick, or he would just be untouchable.
Right.
Same thing with Jordan Mason.
That's more about the team than the player.
Right. Yeah. McCaffrey has like destroyed that backfield.
He's taken everything from everybody.
Yeah. I will say this: if I was Chargers, I would tag Mostert. I don't know which tag I would use. I would tag Mostert.
That's bold. I would not.
I mean, 1-year deal.
For what, like $15 million?
Let's find out. I mean, I have a 6th-round rookie linebacker who played in 8 games this year.
Well, we need to. Yeah, we have to talk about that at some point, whether it be on or off the pod. I just want to know your thought process on that one.
That's no problem. I'll happily share all that. So top 15 salaries for running back. The 15th salary is 11.4. The highest is 19.9. So yeah, he'd be like 15, 16 million.
Yeah, I would not pay that for Raheem Mostert.
Fair enough. Bad call on my part then.
Not when I think Miami would just take a running back in one of their mid rounds.
Right.
I know they aren't like flush with picks, but
Mhm.
they would do something.
Yeah. You know, yeah.
That sixth round rookie linebacker is a baller, by the way.
Oh, hi, Browns.
Hi.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I also got an offer for him, and it had me thinking.
Are we talking about
James Houston?
Houston now?
Yeah.
We shifted.
Yeah. So what are you gonna franchise him?
No, I'm not. No way. Nobody's going to pay a first for him. I'm either going to transition or RFA him.
Okay. Well, I just meant tag in general when I said.
Yeah, I am going to tag him. Yeah.
Okay.
If anybody pays a third, it'll be higher than the 332 that I gave, which is why I had to pay the fifth. I would assume Browns. But I mean, it is a risk to take him to $13 million.
Yeah, I think he's a really good player. He's just a good guy. There was a guy who I want to say was taken in the second round early by the Lions, who was a defensive end, like defensive end / edge. I can't think of what his name is off the top of my head. But
what was his name? I cannot remember. I know who you're talking about though. Give me 1 second.
I want to say the Texans own him.
Josh Pascal.
Yes, correct. But man, if you have a guy who has put up like 8 sacks in
6
less
games.
than it's just I feel like a guy like that gets put on the back burner, and I really, really wanted to keep him, but because there was only 1 year, I couldn't. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
he was going to be expensive one way or the other. Free agency was going to hurt him. He probably would have hit 10 in free agency, I think, just because of the time of when free agency takes place.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I'd rather control him for a year or take a pick.
So. And like I said to you privately, like, hey, listen, even if somebody decides to pay more for him than you do, you get a better pick than you gave to me. So it's a win-win for you.
For sure. And I mean, I after the Lions season ended against Green Bay, like every beat reporter was talking about how Kirby Joseph and James Houston are like the core pieces of the defense with Aiden Hutchinson going forward.
Yep.
So that's pretty impressive for a 6th round rookie pick.
Yeah, and Kirby Joseph, I don't know where he was, but I want to say he was like 5th.
He was 3rd round.
Oh, he's 3rd. Okay, so even more so than I thought. But yeah, he's a good player too. But I think they also have Will Parks there or somebody.
Will Harris.
Yeah. So there's something there.
Kirby's gonna be like the nickel if he breaks the starting lineup. But I also think he's talented enough to where he could be he could be a rotational safety and probably like take snaps away from one of the other safeties in Detroit.
Well, he did. He already did that. Like he was already playing, starting free, I think, for the most part.
They cycled through a lot of safeties midway through.
It's all
they do, yeah.
They have 3 solid safeties, including him. And
right.
Kirby Joseph has done, if he has done nothing else, Aaron Rodgers might own Chicago, but Kirby owns Aaron Rodgers. So many interceptions against that.
Yeah, really.
I can see James Houston being like a Danny Trevathan type of production year in, year out.
Yeah.
Like very much you don't know what you're gonna get. He may get you like 53 tackles, but he might get you 8 sacks. Like,
well, the difference is Trevathan was inside and Houston's an edge.
Yeah. I'm just saying a versatile player that can
for sure.
that can do both things. Just he may for a whole season he may get stuck into being the guy that rushes the passer, and then he may be the guy that falls into pass coverage. But he looks decent at both.
Yeah, and what I'm hoping, happens is he becomes worth the tag, and then when the changes happen to the tag, I can give him a 2-year deal on another tag, and then I can just renegotiate or extend him.
Fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a long-term play, but it's all a complete risk because he's only played 6 games.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's the risk, right? Is he's an unknown, but in the handful of games that he's played, he's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I have quite a core at linebacker right now.
there you go.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it did. But no, I mean, generally speaking, like do we want to turn to the trades and stuff since last week?
Sure. I mean, why not?
I don't know what happened this week, but
I'll be honest, I really haven't paid attention much until like 2 or 3 days ago. So
that's okay.
I can brush up on what happened.
Okay.
But
That's cool.
for sure.
So yeah, the only trade that happened on the pod was my cap dump with the Chiefs. So everything since Wednesday the 11th. And that starts with the Packers giving up Lamar Jackson to the Raiders for Love and Rodgers. That was incredible. I was amazed that happened. And I don't know if that's because the Packers just wanted off of Lamar or what, but I felt like it was light for Lamar.
Jeremy owned Love and Rodgers before, so I understand. I right? He did own them before, right?
I don't know. I mean, ever since I've been in the league, I'm pretty sure Raiders has had them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it
Yeah,
now, it looks
He
like
owned him in 2020
Okay,
and in 2017.
I gotcha.
Oh no, I'm sorry. 2017 to 2020, he owned
Oh,
Rodgers.
Okay.
So yeah, I not surprised. You know, if you can do it and get Love and Rodgers, I don't think it's unreasonable. Everybody has a differing opinion on like what they think is going to happen with Lamar Jackson. So like it's very much like that involved in it. Somebody may be a little bit higher, somebody may be a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Like if I'm the owner of Lamar, like I'm probably getting off of him right now. So like I agree with that. I don't know if Rodgers and Love are the type of quarterbacks that I'm going for.
Right. I mean, Love looked okay in his game action this year. Like he looked way better than he did previously.
Right. Well, I mean, he's a mobile quarterback that has like a big body and a strong arm. Like he's everything you want in a quarterback. So
Yeah.
like it definitely not surprising that he's somebody that has like value 3 years into the league and not really getting a lot of playing time.
Yeah. I wonder if this turns into a real steal yet again for Packers and Rodgers goes to a different team and Love becomes the starter and then he gets 2-for-1 starting Qs.
I don't see that necessarily happening. I don't know. So like I don't see Rodgers playing anywhere else, and not because he has like some type of,
I think it's retirement or back to Green Bay.
right.
But
The one thing he battles with is if he wants to do this anymore. Not really like if you do this for the Packers. Like
right.
he's the type of guy he's from previous era like type of quarterback. Like he'll suck it up and play for whoever's pay.
Yeah.
And he'll play at a high level. But like it's more of a like is he even motivated to want to play at this point?
Right. It's interesting watching him be so miserable.
I mean, he looked fine this year for the most part. Like he still looked very Aaron Rodgers-esque, albeit a year older and less weapons around him. But just does he care to do that again? And I think if the Packers have a good draft, it may reinvigorate him.
Sure.
But either way, I also view Jordan Love as one of those assets that if he goes to free agency, like somebody could pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wouldn't be shocked if he ends up being the Colts starting quarterback.
Right. It's interesting though because Love literally only has 2 years left on his rookie deal.
Does he
Yeah.
even have 2? I thought it was 1 year left.
Oh yeah, sorry. So he'll have 1. So Jeremy will have to tag him with his 5-year option.
Oh, I thought we were talking about real life.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's gonna be fun to see what he does with that. I don't know what he would do, but I think it's a smart move generally to get off of a $38 million Lamar after 2 knee injuries in 2 consecutive seasons. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I was actually pleasantly surprised with what Huntley did. I think he's a more than capable quarterback for the most part. And far cheaper than Lamar Jackson at this point.
Yeah. I don't.
He's definitely, Kmart version of Lamar Jackson, but
He's not the answer long term, that's for sure.
yeah, shit. If he's like, I don't know if he, because he's going to be 26 next year. Like he was 25 this year, so like he definitely has, he's younger than some of the quarterbacks coming out in the draft this year.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Right.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's interesting because like everybody's talking about where's Lamar going to go. How incredible would it be to see them bring in Fields, and Huntley still has the same type of scheme that he can work with because Fields is just like Lamar. Like that would be interesting for Huntley. Not like Baltimore would probably hate it, but
I don't know. Like I said it months ago that I thought Fields was going to get traded just because of his he's at peak value right now because he was playing out of his mind. I didn't think it would be prompted because they have the first pick in the draft. So like I do think that'll be interesting. I think it's wild to have somebody play that good and then there still be the discussion of do they take the undersized quarterback and like
right. Like if they were interested in Stroud or Levis, it makes total sense. Like they're big, bulky dudes. I get it. But they're talking about Bryce Young. I'm like, this is gross. Just let Fields do his thing. You can't.
Right.
Why would you put a guy that you can't protect that's undersized behind that line?
No,
Fields keep beating.
you definitely can protect him. It's a matter of it's the Kyler Murray issue. It's like I don't know what the difference is because like I know Russell Wilson is relatively short. I don't know if it's like the 1 inch or so difference, but like the way Kyler can't see over his line in comparison to like how Russell can play. And like don't get me wrong, I'm talking about previous years Russell Wilson.
Sure.
Like it's crazy how like
yeah. Well, I mean, who knows? But that's for all kinds of off-season discussion. But let's move on here. So the next one, we go like 4 days with no activity, and then we get a real whopper. The Panthers gave up Wentz to the Colts for nothing. Apparently, this was just a risk for the Colts, but I don't understand it.
I mean, he should have got more than just once.
I mean, he should have got a pick at least.
Yep.
To take on a 3-year Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess 2 upon rollover. But yeah, this doesn't make much sense.
No, that's fine. Somebody's taking a bet on like a free player. I completely get that. Just when it's that inflated of a contract, like you can kind of squeeze them for like a 4th or a 5th. Like, oh no, you're making me take this burden. Like, pay me off.
Right. Well,
while also wanting the quarterback.
Yeah, I guess the Panthers was just kind of clearing up cap space for extensions and stuff because the next day he did a deal with me where he gave Cole Turner and Malik Harrison for nothing, and then immediately like announced extensions. So
right.
But still, he should have given up something, like generally. Like at least he gave me Cole Turner to take on Malik Harrison. What?
I think that's the other way around, but
I don't know. Malik has 4 years on a rookie deal, but I don't know. What are you gonna do? But then in between those was Chiefs and Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs gave up a 24 round 2 pick from the Bengals to the Bengals for Trevis Gibson and the 4th this year.
Yeah, I actually like this trade for Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid pickup. Um, I'm not I'm not overly like sold on Gibson, but he has an opportunity to work his way into some type of a rotation, potentially a starting lineup. So like solid player to pick up.
For sure. For
Pretty
sure.
expensive though.
Yeah. Yeah. But not as expensive as the guy that he gave up to the Bears. Josh Uche for a 4th to the Bears. Uche is clearly going to be tagged, and he's going to be pretty expensive on a tag.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's you know what his job's gonna be.
Yeah. But we'll see unless the Patriots do everything they do every year and just change everything about their team. But then we have Panthers giving up a 24th third for Cole Holcomb to the Packers. I think this is a tag move.
Yeah, does Holcomb have a contract after this year, like in real life?
I don't know.
I don't think he does, and that's what concerns me.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah,
But I get it because he's a good player. But
yeah. I would definitely pay a 3rd-round pick for Cole Holcomb on the Commanders. I would not pay a 3rd-round pick for Cole Holcomb going into an unrestricted free agent offseason.
He is a UFA.
Yeah. It's not like it's fine. Like if you're a believer in the player, I've seen enough Commanders linebackers like be productive there and then just not be productive anywhere else.
Right. And then Packers continues his linebacker purge, giving up Devin Bush to Broncos for a 23 4th and 5th. I feel totally fine about this. I know Devin Bush is not going to be a Steeler, which I cannot be more thankful for. And I just hope he lands in the right spot. But, I mean, a 4th and a 5th, there's no real risk to this at all.
No, solid trade.
good deal. Good deal.
Probably for both of you.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll package those and move up into the 3rd or something.
I mean, I just look at it as Packers has had like Bush throughout his whole career, so he's had the ups and downs. He's tired of it now. He hasn't panned out like the draft pick would have wanted. So I would get why he would be happy with just cutting the bait and getting these picks.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also understand you wanting to pick it up and like, well, he's only 24. Let's see what else happens with his career.
Let's see where he goes. Maybe I'll get like the ultimate dream and he'll just swap places with Edmonds in Buffalo. But doubtful.
He'd be more of a complimentary piece to Edmonds.
Yeah, but he'd be playing alongside Milano.
Mhm.
Well, we'll see. We got a long time to go for that.
Yeah.
So moving on to the next one, we have Giants giving up Colt McCoy, Charles Omenihu, and Justin Houston to the Patriots for nothing. Cap dump, obviously. Probably some tag options in there for Patriots.
Yeah. I thought Charles was worth a little bit more than free, but not by much. Other than that, I see nothing wrong with this.
Yeah, I mean, Colt has this is cap dump and getting Charles Omenihu probably instead of a pick to do it.
Yep.
And then the next
one's a good one.
Yeah, the next one's pretty interesting. Colts give up Brian Robinson to the Chiefs for a 23 second and another from the Bills and 23 second from the Falcons. So that's what, like 18 and 30?
Yeah, mid and a late.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I know the Colts is in like the middle of a purge, or attempted purge anyway. Robinson, I don't know that he's going to be anything special. Like, I think it's just RBBC there with Gibson, but I know a lot of people like him.
Yeah, I see it a little bit less of a running back by committee. Just because like I think they want Robinson as the starter. I think it's a solid pickup for somebody like Chiefs, who was like in the championship hunt. Young enough team, he's going to keep the 100% of his core together, if I'm not mistaken. Um, like it's perfect for him. It's not a great deal for everybody. Like I looked at it and like my first thought was like, good for Goose, solid trade.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have bought Robinson, but we're also in very different places, like with what
Yeah.
our teams are doing.
Yeah. Colts approached me about Robinson like a little bit before he did this deal, and I was like, I don't know that I want him. Like packaged with something maybe, but like I don't know.
No, I want him. Like I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be productive, but like just unless you're the champion, unless you're a team like that's in the playoffs and just needs to improve, like I
Yeah.
don't think you're going out and finding young running backs. Like
Right.
there's no major benefit to it.
Right.
Like and like I don't necessarily know if that was a steal, like because we still
It's like
need to see
even
like
value.
yeah, it just straight up solid trade.
Yeah.
Like I for what the Chief for what Goose is doing and where he is, great. Like he wins it from that perspective, but like Colts also like wins it from like what he's trying to do.
Yeah. And then I think the next one for the Chiefs is like a great move for him. He gave up Mecole Hardman for 2 23/4, both early fourths from the Bears.
Yeah.
And Hardman got the fifth year option from the Bears. So
I mean, I would have tried to get a third out of it. Like I don't know if Bears necessarily had a third,
right.
but yeah, like solid. I think Bears got a little bit better value out of that.
I guess it just depends on Hardman. Like I think what's his tag number now? It's or his option number. He's $14.9 million.
Yeah,
That's a lot for him. Like
I definitely agree, but like in a general sense, you'd pay 2/4 for any $14 million productive wide receiver. So like he just has to get the productive part down.
right. That is the part that matters.
Right.
Okay. And then this was a little bit ago today. A little bit of a confusing one for some people. Ravens gave Jimmy G and Leonard Fournette, and the Jets gave back a 23 first and a 23 second.
So we know what those picks are. What are they?
Yeah. So the picks are the Commanders first, which is like 126, and then the Jets first, which I think is Jets second, which I think is like 207 or something like that.
Okay.
So not terrible. Like it makes sense for a Leonard Fournette because of the salary, but they're both not going to be starting anywhere next year. Jimmy maybe. Jimmy maybe. Fournette, I don't see him starting anywhere. But yeah, I mean, this is a coup for the Jets if Jimmy G gets a starting job somewhere, such as the Jets. But yeah, if this backfires, it's great for the Ravens. But yeah, this is a to be determined situation here.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's solid value for the players, especially with Jimmy's contract.
Yeah.
I'd pay a first for Jimmy. I'd pay a second for Fournette. So like that's perfectly fine. I mean, I don't know if I would necessarily pay that, but you know
Right.
what I'm saying. I view the value as kind of even.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. And
So
like I
like
said,
I really like it for the Ravens. Like get rid of other stuff. You still have solid like players at those positions, and now you have a first and a second to go buy stuff or draft younger.
yeah, and he used all that cap space to extend Daniel Jones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's still shopping Daniel Jones. I don't know if that has put a stop to that.
I mean, his only other quarterback is Bailey Zappi, and I don't think he has any picks to actually go.
So he has 2 starters. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, Bailey, Mac isn't going to be in New England much longer.
No, he's gonna find his way somewhere else.
Oh, well, I guess he does have his first and second now because of the trade. So, that's an interesting position he'll be in for that. But,
the only reason why, like, I question if he's still trying to shop Daniel Jones because he updated his trade bait today with Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
still listed there. Yeah, and then last trade before the pod, I gave up a third and a fifth this year for James Houston from the Browns. We already touched on it. It's literally just a risk reward play for a tag candidate.
So does Houston have a comp of a third, like a comp pick?
No, he's going to be tagged.
I probably would have. I would have tried to do a fourth and a fifth then.
Well, he only played in 6 games, so he doesn't have comp status.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but believe me, I did not want to give a third, but I could understand giving up the last third of the round.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah, so nothing horrible, but yeah, but that's that, and I think we're still waiting on Mike to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Houston fan, so I did not want to give him up, especially for the last pick in the 3rd round, but it is what it is.
I mean, it's a solid return on a player that you picked up on, first come first serve or waivers or whatever. So like definitely like you essentially got a comp pick back.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to work out because you're going to save $13 million. You're going to get a 3rd round pick, which is probably going to turn into, like, who knows, one of the first couple corners on the board or something like that. Who knows? And it'll all work out for you in the end. Like it always does, right, Browns?
Exactly right. Yes.
Oh, man. No, so the chat, Packers said that he told us last week that Giants brother was the new Falcons.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I think we were just not sure if he was the brother or brother-in-law.
Oh, I know we got into like other conversations like right after that.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, this is
Oh no, where'd Mike go?
Yeah, I have no idea. He's been gone for a long time for a be right back.
So I'm looking. You guys are okay with the Jimmy Garoppolo, Leonard Fournette for a late 1st and looks like an early 2nd?
I'm good for it.
I've been here the entire time and I was on mute. So
okay, cool. So Browns, to answer your question, I'm good for it for the guy who got the picks back. I think it's horrible for the guy who got the players.
Yeah.
I think
I mean, I'm fine with it. Just I think Ravens got the better end of that, but I don't think that Jets did terrible. Mostly because I really like the Jimmy G contract, and I would pay well to have him.
Yeah. And I think he's going to land a starting job somewhere, so it'll work out long term. But for right now, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at it on its face right now, I mean, Jimmy G, yes, he could certainly get a starting spot somewhere, but that's a carousel of different quarterbacks and between rookies and things like that. And with Fournette, he is what he is. He's also it's like he's going to be a 28-year-old running back. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but congratulations to somebody who trades a 1st and 2nd round pick to somebody in my conference. So
it's going to happen.
This was kind of a conversation earlier today about the value of quarterbacks, like because I think one of the new owners or somebody brought up the value of quarterbacks and like how it's confusing.
Well, no quarterback is worth anything right now because no jobs are safe other than like the top 5.
Right. But there was just conversation about it. So like, I guess like where would you guys factor in? Like obviously Hurts is his own category, right? But like a normal rookie contract versus a rookie contract that's going into a 5th-year option versus a Mahomes style contract. Like
I don't care.
Is that kind of the level of detail you would go into it? Like
that's a one position I don't really care about money. I want comfort.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to pay a top 10 pick for a $35 million quarterback.
Why not? Why you wouldn't pay the 10th pick overall for Josh Allen?
It's different conversation for paying for Josh Allen versus paying for anything else.
Right.
So, I mean, look, it's a different conversation, different bit of this to get that, and I think you'd have to pick it up slightly differently.
Yeah. I think, weirdly enough, I do think that this is the one year where like the majority of quarterbacks aren't worth a first round pick.
Yeah.
Like not rookies, just like the already established veterans.
Like the Mahomes and the
Well, no, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, they're definitely worth a first.
Yeah.
Or multiple firsts, depending on like where they are.
Yeah.
Burrow, Lawrence, probably Herbert, just off of like consistency. Fields, just off of like what he did this year. And then maybe Dak because of the nice combination of youth and like a safe job. But I think that's about it. That are like solid, like, yep, that's worth at least a first.
Yeah, that's kind of that. So, okay.
right on. Mike, is there anything you want to add to the conversation? Now that you're back.
No, I mean, look, I apologize for being a little bit out of pocket here, but I think it's important that we're kind of jumping back into this and getting into the process. So appreciate all that have contributed. Appreciate all that have jumped in, and we'll kind of figure it out from there. But again, thank you all for being part of the process because it's an important step and an important thing to be doing. So
yeah.
All right, turn it off.